Hi, Terri. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. And to anyone who's watching this demo, thank you very much for taking your time to explore Real Plans Pro. I wanted to introduce you to Terri Ward. Terri has a company, Terri Ward Nutrition and Wellness, based in Idaho, and she helps many clients with various dietary restrictions and helping them move through what it means to get healthy again. And so I thought it'd be fun to have a demo with an actual professional. And Terri kindly agreed to walk this through with me. So thank you for joining us, Terri.
Glad to be here. Looking forward to it.
And here it is. So this is the software, Real Plans Pro, and what it does is it allows you to meal plan for your clients. So this is the central dashboard where you have all your clients. So you get a demo account that ships with every version of Real Plans Pro. So I can just go into here. This is me, and I can view my own meal plan. So even as the professional, you can use Real Plans too. And here I'm in simple meal planning here. It's an example of simple meal planning. I've got, here's a straightforward plan, and I can add some recipes here, and I can say, oh, give me a side dish, and I can add some side dishes, and I can do that. And there's my meal plan. And here's my shopping list that makes up all the ingredients that's part of those recipes. And I'm able to download Real Plans from the App Store and get all of that. But all of this is really what your client gets, a world-class meal planner that you as a professional control. But I'm going to take a step back and go through the process of what you can really do with Real Plans Pro. Real Plans Pro is a toolbox that allows you to have multiple different ways of interacting with your clients. And this is being built basically by you, the professionals. Real Plans has been around for 8 years, and we had so many professionals going, where's the pro account? How do I do this to my clients? So, this is where we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how it feels to use Real Plans Pro. So the first thing you do is you can add a client. And if you have multiple clients, you can import them from a spreadsheet here if you wanted to.
How many can you do?
You can add, hundreds. It depends on how many you're going to work with. We'll talk about how the software is licensed and the content and all that kind of stuff a little later on in the call. But you can import your initial set of clients or patients, depending on what you call them, using a spreadsheet with this link right here. So you add your client, and here's my client, Andrew Test. I've got a name and everything else. And what happens is once you add the client, you can then set them up. And you can either set them up by just, going into diet and schedule and just going, okay, this client is dairy-free. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to allow them to, I'm going to give them a simple meal plan. This is just simple meal planning where they have access to a bunch of recipes, and they're going to add some stuff automatically. They're going to add some recipes themselves to their meal plan. So let me show you
Is
what that
that
looks like.
what was called easy meal plan on yours?
Simple meal planning. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's this one here. You see this easy meal plan? This actually is a set of meal plans here. And I have 3 different ones in here. And I can add a new meal plan, and I can use it over and over again. So let's say I want to do, let's get rid of my password generator here. Let's say I want to do school week. Like that. I can just create that. And then now into my school week, I can put my usual recipes that I like so, and then I can add some sides, some vegetables, some potatoes. Let's have a look.
Making me hungry.
Well, I know. Whenever we create meal plans for other people, we end up getting really hungry ourselves. A potato salad, I don't know, I want some stuff with kale. Let's look at some kale, search for kale. And there's a whole bunch of like kale stuff in here, kale and Brussels sprouts, etc., etc. You can add a bunch of stuff. That creates a shopping list. You go to the shops, you shop it all, you come back, and instead of having it on a calendar, you can go, all right, what do I feel like tonight? Well, I'll probably eat the fish first, so that you open up the thing, either this or on your cell phone. You cook the salmon, and then you go, right, I cooked that, boom, put it down there. And then you cook this, and then you cook this, and you slowly but surely, what's left is what you have left in the fridge, because you still bought the ingredients, and that's what's left. Now, let's say that I also had shopped this shopping list, this bunch of stuff as well. I'd gone around the store, literally clicking it off. You can, of course, print the shopping list, email it to yourself, do whatever you want. But let's go back to the planner, and let's say that you did everything and you want to use the plan again. All you have to do is mark it all as uncooked, and it will reset the shopping list. And now you've got that shopping list. You got it all over again. And between you, me, and the gatepost, this is how most people meal plan, to be honest.
Really?
There is of course, as a professional, you're going, where's the calendar, all that kind of stuff, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But this is how most people actually want to do it. They can only think in terms of 4 entrees and some sides. They go shopping, they come back, and then they change their mind about what they actually want. Now, this is a dairy-free diet, but we're about to get more complicated. So that's what I mean by simple meal planning. And just for kicks, let's have a look at what the calendar version of this looks like. So Andrew, if we have a look at what he's got going on, he's actually on calendar meal planning, and Real Plans even creates weekly meal plans for him. He has, let's put 4 dinners, give him some leftovers as well. We'll have leftover portions of 4, a couple of lunches, 3 breakfasts, and save that. So that's going to now update the plan so that now, and let's go and have a look at Andrew's plan. There we go, a real life, and you can choose whether to show macros or not, a real life automated meal plan. So you see already the breadth of what's about to happen here. We've got simple meal planning that you can have for your clients. Certain people are going to want that. Some people are going to want calendar meal planning, where you want to provide a prescriptive, on Tuesday night, thou shalt eat, the super green soup. That's what you're going to eat. And there are certain people that need to have a prescriptive meal plan, and they need to follow some rules and know exactly what's going on. Okay, so are you okay so far and understand the difference between simple meal planning and calendar meal planning?
Yeah, does it just put the leftovers wherever, or did you tell it where?
When you say you want leftovers, it automatically puts it on the next day, as you can see here. But you can get really crazy and decide where the leftovers are going to
go. Okay.
Yeah. So we're good so far. We're really launching into the first part of this demo, which is what does the client get, which is really what the main juice of what this is all about. Okay, so let's go a little more complicated. So I go here and I decide that Andrew is dairy-free, but he's also a Jewish chap. So we've decided to remove some pork. That would be a good idea. And after a conversation with you, you also decided that egg wouldn't be a good thing for him right at this minute. You're doing some kind of an elimination diet or something. So this is a way of excluding entire food groups. In here, you can exclude specific ingredients because maybe of taste. Maybe, you say, hey, Andrew, in your household, is there anything that you guys tend to avoid? And they say, yes, tripe, or what, whatever, but you can say here, asparagus. So this is an asparagus.
Just don't get to say vegetables.
Right, well, I mean, that is food. That's really what this is all about. But egg-free, pork-free, you know, so you save that, and then that is now Andrew's diet. And so now when that whole thing gets saved, it's going to update their meal plan, all that automated meal plan, and it will have no eggs, no pork, and no asparagus.
So just the
So
current week, it will update?
it'll do it for 4 weeks in advance with the calendar.
Okay.
It
But it
always
won't
does a
affect
rolling 4
anything
weeks.
previous.
No.
Okay.
And I had a choice then to say, don't touch current week if you want to, if they were in the middle of it.
Okay.
So you see how down the rabbit hole you can go.
Yeah.
The question being, well, you know, can it exclude this? The answer is yes. It can exclude anything you want. Now, let's continue on our example of adding a new client and the life cycle of where that goes. So having set up Andrew, and it's an example where you have someone remote and you're not speaking to him, you just send him an invite. That will send an automated email to Andrew saying, let's log into Real Plans. Terri set you up. And you set your own password. Andrew then clicks on the link, sets their own private password, and now they have access to Real Plans.
But I still have access to.
But you have access to, you can also see what's going on. You can even see from engagement whether Andrew even logged in.
Okay.
So you have an understanding of, you know, their behavior.
Yeah.
And that's one way of handing someone a calendar meal plan. Now there's another way. So rather than you leaving it up to Real Plans to create meal plans for you, right? Because we decided here, would you like Real Plans to create some meal plan? There's something called templates. Templates are where you, the professional, want to exactly set the meals multiple times for multiple clients. And you want to do it once, and then you want to deploy meal plans, these templates, into the user's Real Plans account.
Oh,
So let's
that
say you're doing like a 4-week
so much
elimination
time.
diet. Sorry?
Big time saver.
Yeah, big time saver, right. So let's say I wanted to do a 4-week elimination plan, or I wanted to do a 2-week, you know, meatless thing, or whatever it is that you're coming up, or low magnesium, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And typically professionals have their clients fall into similar protocols of how you treat people. And so you can come up with templates to suit those specific protocols and bring it in as a shortcut to help that client out. So let me show you what that
Yeah,
looks
I
like.
would definitely do probably 2 different elimination types, like an AIP elimination and then an elimination.
Perfect. So here you see you can go meal plan templates, start a new template. We're going to say, and how many weeks would you build these templates for? 1 or 2 or
Probably
3 or 4
4.
weeks? 4 weeks. Okay, wow. Okay, so 4 weeks. There we go. And you can base this on a similar template you've already had if you want. But you can also say, I want this to be autoimmune paleo. We still haven't talked about content yet. We're going to get to content in a minute. And we're going to call this Terri AIP template, for want of a better word, or title. And here it is. So now what it's doing is it's generating an AIP recipe box for you that'll only have what we consider to be autoimmune paleo. Here it is.
Okay, so
And
it doesn't pre-fill anything. You just start.
Doesn't pre-fill anything, no. And there, now you do your thing. So you do this and you do that. And also you add little notes. Let's say that don't forget to take your supplements, right? So you can really hone it to, but this is going to drop into a client's Real Plans account. And so this is something that's you want everyone to have, or, you know, multiple clients to have. Okay, so the idea behind this is you can have this and that's it, it's done. And you can drop it into a client's account, or here you can print it out and call it whatever you like. AIP meal plan, like so. And you can say some things. Here is a great way to start out with your AIP diet. Now, then what you can do is you can upload a custom header page to be the front page of that PDF if you're technically minded. You can give it a particular date or leave that blank if you want this to be evergreen. And then you can print out which week you want. So let's start with this first week, and we're going to print it out. And so what that does is that this now generates a PDF from that meal plan, which then you can use. And maybe some people don't even want to, some people don't even want to log into an app or get on a computer. They just want to print out. You know what I mean? And this is the way to do that. So here it is. Now you can add your
customize this right there.
Yeah. So here's this is everybody's. This is Terri Ward's website here, terriward.com. So she could download that logo and have that logo sitting right here. And also, if we look at your colors, we've got yellow, red, green, and purple. Maybe we want to use some of those colors in here as well, to make it very Terri Wardish. And there it is. It looks just like real plans. There's the summary. There's the shopping list. Here are the recipes. And so this alone, yeah, and you can choose whether or not to show macros. You can show whether or not to show a timeline. This is a timeline, start thing in the slow cooker, do this, do that. So there's ways of customizing this so that a whole part of your business and the reason you have Real Plans Pro is that you generate these PDFs for people. So
you can do leftovers in the template too?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
watch.
Yeah.
When I take this, I'm going to grab this across like that and create a leftover. Done.
Wow. Okay. So then you could put in notes, you could be making something, I call them next overs. You could make that with the stew. And put that note in there, use the leftover, whatever for that.
Exactly. That's exactly what you want to do. And you can customize this to your heart's content. Now, when I told you about templates, here are the templates. You can change all the colors. You can change your logo. You can change the footer text. I mean, really, you can go crazy so that it's not branded by Real Plans at all. It's branded for your company. So your templates are a really powerful part of the system. Now then, let's get back to our example here with old Andrew Test. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Settings, Meal Plan Template. I'll pick a template. So let's find, I have many examples here. Terri AIP template. Start her off next week. Start him off next week. Apply a temp. Boom. And that's it. Andrew now has your template in his account. And so now now that you've set him up, you can send the invite or whatever. Of course, they get the email. They log into Real Plans and they use it. The reason we called it Real Plans was real as in real life and real food plans. So let's go into some other little examples here of things that you can do. So you'll have been given this screen when you first logged in that we asked you to save. And this is just a shortcut for how a lot of the clients will be set up initially when you open up the system. So we want to know what hemisphere you're in, because seasonal food is different depending on whether you're here or in Sydney. What time zone they're in, so we don't send them emails at weird times. What equipment do your clients typically have? What default diet do you want to put in there? You can create diets up here in the meal plan presets, etc., etc., etc. This is where I've decided to display the macro tracker or not. It gets really involved, and it's a lot. It gets deeper. I'm not even going to go into macros today because that just gets crazy. But the whole macro thing is amazing too. You can have macro-driven meal plans, which a lot of professionals are amazed at. You can set
you could do it so you're planning it accordingly, and then just turn it off so they don't have to get all confused.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. and you can choose per client whether to see it or not, etc., etc., etc. So I was going to talk to you about content as well, and then I'm going to finish with what I think has been the aggregate best feedback and advice that I've got from the hundreds of professionals that I've spoken to, just like you, one-on-one, and how they use Real Plans and how they make it turn into a good business for them. So content. We have 2,000 recipes with Real Plans, but you can sign up for additional recipes from top class content providers that will give you so Paleo Mom, autoimmune wellness. So this is a big one, obviously, for AIP. Mickey Trescott. And then you got FODMAP every day. These guys are amazing. Day Wilson, who's super connected to the Monash University. We have a lot of FODMAP recipes. Whole30 and Real Food Dietitians, which have got lots of yummy food. They've got lots of entrees, lots of sides, lots of family type, favorite type stuff. These guys are really good too. And you can add their recipes onto your subscription, and you pay a license. We'll talk about pricing again at the end. On each of these recipes can just get added, and that's a site license. So all of your clients, no matter how many clients you have, they can all have those recipes in templates and meal plans and everything else. So that's what that's for. Now I'm going to, oh yeah, and then recipe box here. This shows you all the recipes that you have access to. And you can also import recipes. So you can either put in a URL or a website, and if it's a properly formed recipe website page, it'll bring it in, or you can just manually bring in a recipe and add the ingredients and the preparation and stuff and put it into the system. All of your clients have access to your imported recipes too. So if you have your grandmother's favorite bone broth, stick it in. So everyone
I've got lots of those.
So that's a really good overview of the function of Real Plans. But I think the most exciting part is the story and what you sell to your clients and how this becomes a successful business tool for you. So I'll step back a little bit. I think the Real Plans Pro is an accountability system for your clients. If your clients wanted or knew to meal plan and to make themselves feel better by just selecting just AIP recipes, getting their act together, going to the shops, buying AIP ingredients, coming back, eating it and doing that, they'd probably start feeling better on their own. But they don't. Why is that? It's because they're not accountable to themselves. And so they purchase accountability. They purchase two things from the professional, as I see it. One is a phase one, which is a diagnostic part. I feel moody. I have low energy. Blah, blah, blah. My stomach hurts. They have a set of symptoms, and you turn that into a diagnosis. You say, you have leaky gut syndrome. You really should be considering having this kind of a diet. That's only phase one. Phase two is the accountability part, where they go, okay, good, AIP, what does that stand for? And you then are going to say, I am going to provide you with a meal plan, and we're going to walk through this together, and we're going to make something that's really going to work for you. And then you're going to go away and do it, and then we'll meet afterwards and see how it went. And they're going to go, okay, this is where Real Plans Pro steps in. So I'm a bit of a geekhead, so I would do this on a call. I would immediately, go, hey, let's plug you in here and put you in here. And then now watch what you can do. You can do something called onboarding. All right, Andrew, now you're the client. Let's look, there's a little note here. Make sure that the partner or the person who's responsible for the cooking is on the call. Another great piece of advice. Do you know how many times that a professional will sit down with a client? This rings a bell. And you go through this extraordinary, dance of creating a meal plan. And all they do is they take that printout and they hand it to the person who actually cooks their food. And they are the ones that go,
yeah,
we're not doing this. What are you talking about? So you can include the person on the call, make it a thing, the provider of the food. Now, hopefully often it's the person who's actually cooking the food, but it's not always the case. So continue. What equipment do you have in your kitchen, Andrew? Right? And so you're there. So you're not including recipes for things they don't have access to, but they do have a food processor. Okay, good. And then you continue. And then, are we going to do simple meal plans or not? Let's do simple meal plan, etc., etc., etc. So through that, I'm going to exit this, but you can walk them through step by step how to do their meal plan. At the end of it, you then say, "Is this going to work for you?" And they're going to have to say, "I don't know. What about the? Let's do that bit." We're looking at the plan right now, right? You're like this. You're looking at it, and they go, "What do you think? Can you do this?" And they go, "I don't know. I forgot to mention I don't like tuna very much." And you go, "Oh yeah, look, there's that tuna. Okay, let's get rid of the tuna. And what we'll do is let's add and then you can go in here, get an entree, and then if you like, you can then say, let's get the main ingredient. Let's get you some more chicken. Okay, so how about and at this point, if you use real plans, you'll know some of these recipes. But I happen to know that the balsamic chicken is pretty good, like that. And how does that work, Andrew? Does that sound good? And let's add some mashed potatoes to that. Look at this. I clicked into the recipe, click the plus sign, boom, it's in. And let's make it a bit more of a full meal. Let's add some green beans, boom, it's in. How do you feel now? Yes, that looks great, he says. And then off he goes, and you give him the meal plan, and that's now live in his system. He goes to the shopping list, and all of these ingredients for these recipes are in there now. Now what happens is you then book another appointment with Andrew. And also, in terms of pricing and how you price this to Andrew, is that you don't say, it's going to cost you $300 for a 3-session time with me, and we're going to really figure you out. And it's another $50 for the meal planning component. You eat that subscription as part of it. Yeah, exactly. As part of what you do, what you offer. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, you are, they don't know the meal planning is the key to accountability, but you do. And so you just present it to them like a rabbit out of a hat and go, oh, by the way, let's go. So here it is.
It really is. I mean, you can tell them, eat this and don't eat that, but they don't know how to change, to make that change.
They don't know how to change. They need you. They need you. Okay, so Andrew goes away for a week and you now book your next session with him, right? And you could price it per session. Who knows? Andrew comes back and you go, how did it go? And Andrew's going to say one of two things. I did it. I'm starting to feel a little better. Good, you say. Keep going. Or Andrew says, oh, I didn't do it. I just ate Twinkies all week. Oh, why is that? Oh, my mother never cooked me properly, and I was or something more serious. I was an abused kid, and I don't deserve to be well, and I don't deserve this. And more often than not, the real medicine comes out because it's no longer about the meal plan and the fact that, well, there was tuna on there, so I didn't do it. Instead, that you've shown them the 4 corners of the room, and then you're saying, why haven't you nourished yourself? What's going on? And that's why people need professionals like you, because they come to you and they open up and then they let go, and then you can say, okay, let's do something simpler. Why don't we just give you like 3 recipes this week? Just cook those and make that happen and then move forward. But you need that bedside manner and that intuition as a professional to know which way to go with it. And that's why Real Plans Pro is so powerful. It's an enabling piece of software to guide your clients along the rocky road to healing. It's not linear, it's not pretty, but you're there by their side. And we want to take all the grunt work out of the meal planning and everything else and just within a few buttons be able to present these clients with meal plans that are going to work. Make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's too time consuming to do it without something like this, for sure.
So finally, once you are done with Andrew, let's say that Andrew's 6 weeks in and doing great, and you want to offer this seat to someone else, this license to someone else, so that you can take on a new client. You can then unassign Andrew, or you can unassign Andrew on a Friday, next Friday, or whatever you want. What that means is that you work for Andrew for as long as you want. Then we give real plans to Andrew for 2 weeks on his own. He just uses real plans like nothing's changed. And at the end of those 2 weeks, we ask Andrew for his credit card to continue access into real plans.
Okay.
And
you will take that.
Yes, we will take all that. And you make 30% of all those credit card receipts for your clients once they transition into paying to real plans themselves. So you are by default becoming like an affiliate for your clients that you have introduced real plans to. And we felt that was a...
So if I have imported recipes or created templates, will they not have access to those once they're not assigned a seat?
Correct. At that point, they no longer have access to your content, because then there was we're really hot on content and licensing and making sure that the contributors are being attributed correctly and everything else. And so we make sure that licensing is handled right. You know, we don't, if you had 50x licenses all using the FODMAP everyday recipes, it's not quite right. You know, they can sign up for those recipes again. They can't sign up for your recipes again, but we have a lot of recipes in there that they can.
And so if they were put in a previous plan in their account,
they'll stay there.
They'll stay there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. They just won't be able to search and add them again. That's how it works. Yeah. So in order to receive that money, you have to become an affiliate, and you sign up. I clicked on profile, and there's the affiliate program, and you sign up and pop your affiliate ID in there. And that's how we know to send you the money. So that, in a nutshell, is everything to do with the software itself. I wanted to just show you how to sign up. You just go to realplans.com/pro, and here's some information about it. This demo here, in a circular reference, is the demo that you are currently watching. And also, this is the pricing. So I'm going to explain what seats mean. Seats mean concurrent licenses. So let's say that you have a maximum of 2 people actively using real plans, and you're logging into their meal plans and stuff like that. That's how much it is a month. And then
that wouldn't include your demo. That wouldn't include your demo account.
That includes the demo account as well. So you have 2 seats plus the demo account. So in other words, you have 3 seats. Yeah. So you can practice and play around in your own and use it. And then if you have a lot more, we have some enterprise clients as well who have an extraordinary amount of clients, and then we just speak to them individually. But that's how it works. Do you have any questions?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I mean, I love the different diet plans that you have. So I'm assuming when that you've got all those funky ingredients we use every day that most things out there don't even recognize. You've got nutritional analysis on most of that stuff.
Yeah, everything has got a nutritional. We use the USDA nutritional database. So every recipe has a nutritional label based on the USDA database. We keep that up to date because things keep changing. We have new ingredients on the coming up all the time that we have to keep up with, and well, the USDA have to keep up with, and we receive. Yeah, that's all handled.
Cool.
All right. Well, Terri, it's been a pleasure
showing you.
I know it's time. Pleasure to go through this with you, and thanks to anyone who is still on the call and has listened to this whole thing. And I trust that Real Plans Pro is going to work for your practice. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.